I'm Danny Butler. This is going to be the big beta review, and this is Trial Tube. Now, I thought it wise, before I actually head out today and get this thing reviewed, obviously my own bike, I thought it wise to install a few parts to the bike before we leave. I've got a set of brand new Jitsi wheels provided to me by the guys at MK Off-Road, so thank you very much for those guys to test out. And we're going to just see if there's a benefit. Are they lighter? Do they feel lighter? I mean, that's what's important. Do they feel lighter? So better get them on the bike. By the way, don't judge me, okay? The bike was out doing a little bit of press and it didn't really warrant cleaning. Sometimes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So as we go along today, I thought that I'd show you some of the nice little add-ons to the bike that I've been doing at the minute. So first up, these little chain tensioners from S3. I say little because they are genuinely very small and compact, right out of the way from those rocks getting anywhere close to them. Still got the same adjustment as the standard ones, look a lot cooler, red anodized. Yeah, they're cool, I like them.
Winner!
Another little investment to my Beta, Top Trial Team head. Improved cooling. There's a huge gap in the top of this head for extra coolant flow, keeping the bike nice and cool and running sweet.
Winner!
Now you would have seen these in the past few videos, cheeky little Trial Tube airbox cover sticker. These wear out quite quickly on the Beta, so you're always going through them. These are now available, you can actually buy them from us. So that's cool, we've got them for Beta and Gas. Sorry all the other makes, I just haven't had time to get a template. Okay, let's party. Larger capacity float bowl from the guys at Hipple Racing. Definitely makes a difference on stopping the bike from feeling like it's not getting enough fuel for a start, especially up those big steps. So yeah, I like this one. Tidy. I know I mentioned this in a previous video, but I'm still loving the RT Works cover there. They're awesome. You can literally get to the pins, they stay on, they're super tight and really clean. I love this one. Don't you just love live action? I was just about to shoot the next shot and the postman's literally just rocked up. And then obviously we socially distanced ourselves and did the whole mask thing. And he handed me my CSP lever clamps, which I'm going to fit now for this review. I didn't know they were being delivered by a person walking from Spain. That's how long it's taken them to come, by the way. Woo! Back to the video. Now, it has been said in the comments that I should be socially distancing. And just so you know, I make all these videos alone, completely alone. So that's pretty distanced. Now, spare wheels, although quite expensive to acquire, are super useful. So if you haven't got some, try and save up. I'm not saying, you know, don't put a loan against your house. Don't go starving. If you can afford some, try your best to get hold of some. Rookie error. When you're thinking about the filming and not about what you're doing. One wheel out. Now putting the next wheel in, all you're going to need is the spacers from the original wheel. I just give them a quick clean. That's right, I'm cleaning them before they go into the other wheel, which is clean. Common sense, I know, but, well, there's not a lot of it going around, is there? Which I then use a little bit of grease, using the Fuchs RG2 grease, which I find has a great consistency. And for anybody that's used this grease before, it's basically awesome. People in the comments now again, give us some more technical advice. I also make sure that the axle is nice and clean as well. Just take that spacer off there. Give it all clean. Don't be afraid to muck in, you know. There's nothing wrong with it. If you're changing your wheels, you may as well do it and lube them and re-lube them, you know. How many times can you say re-lube on camera before it gets awkward? Re-lube. I'm going to re-lube them.
No.
You know, people think when I put the little GIFs in the video that they actually think that that's just me being silly. No, it's not. That's just the way my brain works. I am silly. No! Some like overly 70s music right now. Oh yeah. Why is he greasing the whole thing? Well, because I can. No. So, you line up the wheel, just pop it between there. In one hand, just guide it between the disc. Pop the axle in, or just on the edge, teetering there. Hopefully the pads haven't jumped like they've just done. And the awkward bit is always getting the disc between the pads, which is great fun. Admittedly, not my smoothest installation of the rear wheel, so don't judge me. I like to be honest. I could just rewind this, you know, I could just retake this. But this is real. So, wheel in, chain on. Be very careful, don't go losing a finger, make sure it's nice and loose and push to the front. And then all you have to do is rotate the wheel and on comes the chain. Simple, simple stuff, okay guys? By the way, feel free in the comments to add a picture of your Beta if you've got one. I just like to see them. No other reason, I just don't get out much. But then again, nobody does. Now, little piece of information. This may seem rather silly, but the actual measurement for tightening your chain on a Beta, according to Beta's own video here on YouTube and their website, is the gap of your finger between the chain tensioner and the swing arm. That's right. If you've got a fat finger, you've got a tighter chain. And then after that, it's quite simple. To make sure the wheel's straight, just level the two tensioners up. Easy work. So let's fully tighten her up. Brace the wheel. Just hold the tensioner in place because I like to run the tensioners upright so they're not going to get caught by anything. Most people run them down bank, so when you tighten them up, they press into the swing arm. But for me, I just like them out of the way, especially if you've got really shiny, nice ones. Give them a little pinch. There we go. So quick common sense update. Once you've finished working on the back wheel, slide the bike slightly towards the rear end on the sump plate so that it picks up the front wheel if you're using one of these portable stands like myself, especially if you're in a field or something like that. You're not going to want to stand there trying to hold the front end of the bike up. But this, just by moving the bike a few inches back on the stand, gives you the chance to lift the front wheel up. Now then, to get the front wheel out of the Beta, you are going to need a 10 mil Allen key, okay? Or a hex key, or whatever you call it from wherever you're from. That goes into the end of the axle. And a 10 mil socket. Again, it's a socket. I don't know what you call it if you're not from the UK, but we call them sockets. Okay, there you go. 10 mil for the axle, 10 mil for the two pins that locate the axle in the bottom of the fork leg. Let's have it. Now I've not just only upgraded the wheels, obviously, the disc itself is a Galfa one, it's a wavy one, just because I think they look cool, no other reason. Do they brake better? Not entirely sure. I've actually found in the past that the standard Beta front disc is fantastic, completely fine. You'll see on a lot of the factory discs, on a lot of the factory bikes sometimes, you actually see that the riders are running the standard rotor, but these look cool, so. Okay, full disclosure boys and girls, I had to turn the camera off there because I've needed to shim the caliper over slightly so that the disc runs true, which is something that in the mountain bike industry used to be completely, well, it used to be a thing basically. If you had a new brake you needed to shim it. So I've used one washer from the outside of the pin, replaced it with another washer and done the same on the bottom, and there we go, true. Give the brake a little pump after the pad's been pushed all the way back. When I said a little pump, what I actually meant was because it does feel a little bit spongy, which is completely and utterly normal when you've just changed your wheel. While we're at it, and in the spirit of getting things blinged up, I thought I'd change these CSP lever clamps over. Now that right there is some unnecessary bling. I love it. Tyre pressures. So, I've got it on good authority, my brother who works for Michelin changing tyres at British Superbike, that trials tyres don't have enough time to get warm. Because they're not going to. I run 4 in the back, 4.5 in the front, 3.5 in the back if it's really slippy. I'm about 85 kilos. I use a little tyre pressure gauge like this one, low tyre pressure gauge. This is an Apico one. Other companies make them, fair dues. But that's about it really. Set your tyre pressures, go out riding. If you feel like it's a little bit low, pop a little bit in. Use your common sense. I meant PSI, by the way, 4.5 PSI.
Frank, if I do land this jump, will you respect me?
So we're at the compound, socially distanced, as in just me on my own, and we're going to actually test the 300 Beta Evo 2021. That's not exactly standard, but it's also kind of standard. So here we go. Let's do it. I'm not saying she's got some power, but the vibro's for real. Now, seeing as I haven't actually had the chance to review my own bike, I thought it was about time. And what I always try and do is the same section to make sure that I'm being fair. And that is what matters. Fair reviews, honest. Now remember, I haven't been given any of these parts for free. So my view is an honest one. First things first, the Beta I find has got a lot of torque on the bottom end. And what I like about the Beta is the fact that it's got such a steep head angle, which for me, as a mountain bike trials rider, is a big deal. But I do like that raspy sound out of the Beta, that low, grunty feel. Now for those wondering the difference out in the Jitsi wheels, I am already feeling, I know I'm on fresh rubber, there's a slight weight difference in the bike. It is slight. So just like I did on the gas, we're going to try the same section with a little difference. Going to step it up a little bit. Now, gearbox wise, which is something I haven't spoken about, the Beta always does feel nice and solid. There's quite a long gear lever in the Beta, which sometimes that can make the gear selection feel a little bit lazy. But I find it to be nice and sweet. I'm actually running the Silcoline Light gear oil in this bike. So, on the last video, we did the same step on the gas, which was a brand new bike, and we did it in first gear and in second. Now, the Beta's got this real low end grunt to it, and I find that if you are in first gear, it takes a bit to get it going. But in second, it pulls right from the bottom and really makes it, well, easy. So first, love the sound of that arrow. So that was first gear. Now second, same section. So for the keen of hearing, you can hear that grunt on the bottom end. Now I know the Beta doesn't come with Riga shocks or tech suspension on the front, but when I was a kid, the forks to run were the Paoli, which is what I've got in right now. They're smooth, springy, they may not be the lightest, but they have a really nice feel to them on the up and down. He's concentrating, don't worry. Again, like I said, in second, the bike's just as responsive, but it's all about the torque, or torque to our American viewers. So, clearing the bike out, we're in second gear. Same again. Slightly leant back on takeoff. It's not easy to torque and ride, is it? Should be used to it really though. Never shut up. Here we go. Nice weighted on the back. Now, full disclosure, in this video, it's raining. So what do we call this? Do we call this a wet test of the Beta? I don't know. They're all wet tests in the UK. Now just here we've got a bit much a third gear climb. You come out at the bottom through some water onto this midsection, you come up a little step as well, and then there's a takeoff point where you kind of have to fly to the edge of that rock. I did do it on the gas in the last video, but you can never really tell the size of things, and it is quite big. I'm a very short 6'2", if anybody's wondering. So on the Beta, third gear, let's fire her up. Use that big torquey engine, leaning right off the back. Hopefully we're going to be able to fly through the air and get this done. Full disclosure, yes, I've had one run already, but I've stayed pretty clean. I tell you what, it's easier to start than a gas. Now with the Beta being a little steeper on the head angle, you do have to get your weight a little further back in comparison to last week's gas. Let's see that again from the other angle, Jeff. Now with the big Beta 300, in all fairness, I'm not going to lie, on that takeoff, it really is a grunty beast. And then on landing, there's plenty left, just to give it that little blip to carry you to the top of the hill, even after you've taken off for the step. However, on the down bank, you do have to get your body right back, because the steep head angle does mean that it's a little bit twitchy on the downhill. So let's get down to it. 3 annoying things and 3 good things about owning a Beta. Number 1, Betas don't come with all the toys like some of the other brands, which I've been told in the comments last time, Sherco, TRS, Gas, a few of the other bikes on Montesa, come with things like tech forks. But don't worry, I'm running completely standard suspension, and I've actually been quite surprised how good it is this time around. Yes, the Paoli fork is a touch heavier, but like I said, when I was a kid growing up, they were the forks to have, and now I've got them. And sod's law, you want something else. It's just the way of the world. Not a bad fork, but it'd be nice to have ones that are a bit lighter and a bit cooler looking. Number 2, airbox. Unfortunately, although Beta seem to try their best to get this bad boy to seal up nicely, for some miraculous reason, every time I open the airbox, it's full of water and dirt. It's just the way it goes, I suppose. However, there's a chap named Ben Sprigg that's currently making a little flap that sits just below the plastics that helps a lot of the dirt stop coming over the top of the shocker and straight into the airbox. Even with the filter in, it always seems to gather quite a lot of dirt. But if you're taking care of it, well, you can fix that problem. But yeah, number 2, the airbox. And last but by no means least, fuel cap. Unfortunately, the standard Beta fuel cap always seems to fuse and bond into the frame, which makes it extremely difficult to get it off. As you can see, I've changed mine for a CSP one. Yep, it's pretty blingy. You don't need the breather pipe in as well, as somebody said a few videos ago, because the breather pipe is built into the frame, kids. Use your brain.
I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom.
3 good things about the Beta, come on! Number 1, the fork angle. So, not a lot of people talk about the geometry of the bike and how they ride. I find the Beta have the pegs really far back and the fork angle's quite steep, which for me, as a pro push bike rider, that's a big deal because push bikes have all got really steep head angle. So it kind of feels like home to me when I'm on the bike. Great geometry. Good work, Beta. Number 2, one of the things I like about the Beta the most is how much you can upgrade a Beta by buying something that needs a few upgrades. If you're like me and like to make the bike your own, you can really go to town. Wheels, exhaust, I have got some suspension to fit, plenty of bling parts, head, pegs. You can go crazy. It's great fun. Number 3, the way a Beta sounds. I always feel like a Beta talks to you and gives you that information. Yeah, trials riders right now are probably all saying, all bikes talk to you if you listen, but I really feel like a Beta, after riding one for about 10 years, I can hear a note of grip. It literally spells out grip when you ride it. Listen carefully. Can you hear that? That is the sound of grip. Thank you for watching TrialTube. Remember to subscribe, like and share as always. I've noticed in my analytics that only 70%, sorry that's the wrong way around, 30% of you are subscribing and 70% are just watching and buggering off. So go on, subscribe, share. If I get more likes, then I get more content. Also turn the little notifications bell on and that'll tell you when we make our next video. I want to keep these reviews going, you know. The hardest part about this one is getting these pants clean. But for now, cheers. So much easier to start.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like.
Hold the phone. In case you're wondering, my bike is for sale. So, if you'd like to buy the Beta from TrialTube in all of its glory, then send us a message on the Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, whatever. Get in touch. I'm not hard to reach. And if you'd like to buy this bike, then it can be yours for the bargain price of